What's up, No Load Time? Joel here. We are doing a video review for The Flash. That's right, The Flash movie starring Ezra Miller, Michael Keaton, Sasha Calle. We are super excited to do this review. No Load Time had the privilege and honor of seeing the movie well in advance. So we were able to see it courtesy of Tampa Bay Comic Book Convention. Really thankful for them, their team out there. What nice people. I can't wait to actually be at Tampa Bay Comic Book Convention. I'll be there as a member of the press. They approved our podcast, so that was really kind of them. We'll be out there coming end of July, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And if you are out there, say hi when you maybe see me out there. But talking about The Flash here. So this will be a non-spoilers review. I will have a spoilers review coming out actually probably on June 12th, I want to say. I think it's when the fan first screenings, that very weekend is when the film actually comes out. So I want to make sure I do a respectful, non-spoilers impressions while people are talking about the movie, since the embargo lifts today. So as you're watching this video is pre-recorded, comes out when the embargo is lifted. Yeah, so, really liked this movie, I gotta say, overall. There was a lot of anticipation coming into it. There's also a lot of concern. The movie has been delayed multiple times. The lead actor, has had a lot of personal issues, but that shouldn't also be carried into the film. We should be subjective and watch the film for what it is. And that's exactly what I planned to do, and that's exactly what I did. And going into it, I had heard, the comments being made how James Gunn, had said things like, oh, this is, one of his favorite superhero movies, and how David Zaslav, the head of Warner, had said like it was one of the best comic book movies of all time, top five, something like that. Don't quote me exactly, but somewhere along those lines. And, I gotta say, this movie is really good. It's probably one of the better standalone films. I don't think it's the best or even in the top five at all of superhero movies as a whole of a genre, which is just subjective. That's my personal opinion. Many of you will disagree. Many of you will really love this film, but that's a good thing, right? Like, that's a good thing that people can actually watch this and say, is it even one of the best films in the comic book genre? Like, if that's not telling you enough just from that impression, just reviewing the movie, I think that's a strong indication about that it's at least a conversation to be had, and that's fair. But yeah, for me, was not. It's not. I just think it's a really solid film. The movie. I was beforehand thinking, because you brought in Batman, because you brought in Supergirl, maybe this is not going to be as much of a Flash film. Yes, in the Flashpoint storyline, which they're loosely adapting the Flashpoint storyline, these characters, to some extent, exist a little different iterations, but still. There's actually more characters in the Flashpoint that you see in the comics. But just on the big screen versus the book, I was like, is this gonna be very much a Flash movie, or is this gonna be kind of like Captain America: Civil War, where it wasn't really a Captain America movie? He was a star of it, but you could also say that, like, Iron Man, and Captain America were co-stars. I digress, but my point being is just I was wondering how that might work out, and to my surprise, they really did hone in fully and commit to a Flash storyline. They took the strongest beats of the Flashpoint storyline and they adapted it really beautifully, I think. I wasn't sure how it was gonna be with the two Flashes that you've seen in the trailers, and I wasn't sure if that was gonna kind of become a little bit of just a joke, but it's both has a lot of humor, this overall film, but it also has a lot of heart. And when you see a movie that has this much heart in it, it's just such a great thing to see, because I felt like DC for so long had just these very dark superhero films that, yeah, it's cool to see these brooding heroes and legends, but at the same extent, we want to see heroes that have a reflection of us a little bit in it, right? And I think with The Flash, what they did here is they did humanize him a lot. And Barry Allen, like the main Barry Allen, there's two, obviously, we see it from the trailer, so I'm not talking spoilers or anything, but the your main Barry Allen, I think they got it right. I really do. Could have been way more goofy, and they just made him youthful, sure, but But no, I think they really got it right. It wasn't like Joss Whedon's Justice League, where, I felt like they kind of made him just always like the tail end joke of the whole Justice League. He's the one who's like, oh, I just push things and run away. And I was like, that's not the Flash. Like, come on, guys. In this one, we don't see that. Like, Flash really does want to not be the butt of the joke. And that's even something that, again, not trying to get spoilers, but like that's something that is even referenced in the film where it's like, like I want to be right there with the league. I want to be respectable and do the cool work. And Flash really figures this out on his own. He has assistants, of course, and that's where you start getting into your Michael Keaton Batman return. And oh my goodness, what a return that is. Whew, I just loved seeing Michael Keaton back as Batman. I think he did a phenomenal job. I think people are going to love his portrayal. And his introduction scene was not very high on it, to be completely fair. But when you finally get him, back fully committed as Batman, I guess Bruce Wayne it's a little different. I was concerned. Did not want to see the Last Jedi effect, of Bruce Wayne and Luke Skywalker kind of thing for all the Star Wars fans out there. You know what I'm talking about, but. No, they did just fine. I think Mike Keane is back in full form, really commits to the character greatly, and so fans are gonna love that, and just seeing the suit and the music and just the overall portrayal, never missed the beat. Is right back in action, so I love that. Supergirl, wow, what a great job. I think she gave us the best live action Supergirl that we've seen. I was not very high on the CW show. I think that kind of made Supergirl a little bit of a joke. She was always apologizing for everything. I was like, come on, guys, it's 2023. Get with it. Let's not portray our female heroes this way. You wouldn't do it to a male character. Why you're doing it to her? And I know many people feel differently. So I'm not trying to offend those that like the show. I'm glad you do. It's subjective. This is personal opinion. And seriously, if you enjoyed it, great for you. I really do mean that. But just for me personally, doing this review here, was not a fan of that. I think with this one, you finally see a legitimate Supergirl who really is a powerful Kryptonian, who, just like the comics, woke up and is thinking, I need to follow my assignment, which is protecting my cousin Kal-El. And that whole integration is just great. And there is a great comic book reference that they make in this movie. I will save all that for my spoilers review that will be going out, I want to say, on June 12th. So stay tuned for that very, very, very soon. That will be dropping. I look forward to talking about that more, so make sure you look out for that. Last but not least, I also want to talk about just Ben Affleck being back as Batman. Yeah, people said it was a cameo. It's more than a cameo. He has scenes and important scenes, and I think he did a great job as Batman in this. Between the Snyder cut and between this one, these are the best portrayals of Ben Affleck's Batman, and there's definitely a little Dark Knight feel to some of the stuff that they do here, so I love that. I recommend you watch this movie on the biggest screen as possible. I do recommend you go out to the theaters and watch this. Watching it from home is fine. If you have to, that's great. But if you watch it in the theaters on the big screen, it's really worth it. I watched this in IMAX, and definitely sequences when he is going into his full Speed Force runs, and the screen, the aspect ratio just changes. For people like me that love those little technicalities, really enjoyed it. For most people, they might be like, don't really tell the difference, don't really care. And that's fine, great. But for me, this is just, again, my review, so that's how I really felt about it. I think if you watch it on the big screen possible, you're going to really enjoy seeing that full portrayal of the Speed Force. It's just great. There's so many surprises, so many things that are done in this movie that I really hope people are able to stay away from spoilers. So that's why I'm not doing a spoilers review, because most people have not seen the film. There's been so many screenings, and I think they really are trying to promote this movie. And many people will say, okay, you're seeing the screenings, that's probably why you're giving a more positive review. I can honestly say I've been very critical of this movie, and I really was impressed by what I saw with it. And if my opinion can change, that's saying a lot. I think Ezra did a wonderful performance. It's unfortunate the personal stuff that has gone on, and I'll leave that at that and let that play out the way it's supposed to. But as the movie is, this individual film, really well done, really enjoyed it. Not perfect. There's plenty of things I wish it would change. There's an entire sequence in the middle of the movie, when you do get between the two Barrys, that kind of couldn't have been just handled differently. There's also these characters that are in the movie, that are friends of the Flash, yeah, was not crazy about that. I think it was like one of them was like an influencer or something. Just was not crazy about that. But I'll save more of that stuff for the spoilers when we start getting into full content. I don't want to talk too much about them, being very vague on purpose, because I know a lot of people have not seen the movie. If you've seen the movie, great, awesome. I know there's a lot of screenings, like I said, trying to create that buzz going into it. We'll see how it performs. I cannot wait to be back for my spoilers review, so make sure to stick tuned, stay around, subscribe to the channel, and it will be coming up very soon. Look out